Even men at the top of their game find themselves wanting more from life. Whether it's more meaning, unshakable confidence, a bigger impact, more money, deeper love, a hotter sex life, or a powerful legacy. Find out how good your life can be on this episode of Man Alive. Also, if you're not satisfied with your love or sex life, I want you to know that I get how painful it is. Sometimes it's hard to know what to do to change things up and get the results you want. But having spent 20 years as a dating and relationship coach, supporting thousands of men to have the relationships and sex they want, I know it's possible for you when you get the right kind of support. As a woman coach, I bring a unique advantage by helping you understand how women think and feel and why they say and do things that can be so frustrating for you. My specialty is being able to tell within minutes why you're losing attraction, trust, or respect from women, and how to turn that around. Even though you've likely been raised to think you should be a man who doesn't need any help, it just doesn't work that way because none of us were handed a guide to love or sex. So every month by application, I open my calendar to a few men for consultations. Men are amazed to walk away from these sessions feeling more confident in and out of the bedroom. Coaching isn't for everyone. I work with men who are willing to be honest about their role in the situations they've created. So if you're still playing the blame game, this isn't for you. But if you're ready to take action and have a love and sex life you feel great about, book a time to meet with me. Go to shanajamescoaching.com/consult and fill out the form to tell me more about you so we can set something up. That's shanajamescoaching.com/consult. Enjoy today's podcast. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I'm excited to be here today. I'm your host, Shana James, and I'm excited to be here today to talk about a cultural phenomena that impacts men's health and really to look at something that I think many men I've worked with, have some understanding about the impacts on their health, but they don't fully really get it. So I have an amazing guest here today, Clifford Steffen. Clifford, welcome.
Shana, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about men's health and primarily the impact that alcohol has on men's health and what it might be like for a man to consider taking a break or taking, as you call the movement, a booze vacation. And really looking at, I think a lot of the men who listen to this podcast we're all getting older, obviously, but a lot of men are 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And so really starting to think about health or starting to have health scares and health crises. And, you have really experienced and worked with a lot of people or supported a lot of people to understand the impact alcohol has on their lives. So can you give us a little background of how you started this movement?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm 51. I played, water polo, soccer, tennis in high school, kind of indoctrinated in the bro culture, started drinking back then in high school and went to college and then got corporate jobs, and kind of alcohol's been along for the ride all along the way. Super extroverted, super driven of being a lot of events and hang out with my buddies. And it just, as you age, things change, and you have more responsibilities, and yeah, maybe a little bit more stress, and you start getting a little bit older, maybe some questionable blood work, etc.
Just a little more stress as you get older and
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, and I wasn't looking to get smarter with my drinking. I didn't really see it as an issue. It was pretty pervasive in my friend groups and kind of wherever I went. And so yeah, there wasn't really any issues until kind of like mid 30s, early 40s. It really kind of started precipitating some limitations. I have a degree in nutritional science. I've always been pretty active and healthy, and it was definitely kind of starting to feel my age and look and feel not my best. Definitely struggle with sleep and stress, and kind of weight wasn't where I wanted to be, etc. So yeah, I kind of just started to kind of try to address those issues by doing different diets and supplements, etc., and kind of turning over every leaf, but not really looking at the alcohol piece because in my peer groups, we'll cut back and we'll take a month off here or there, but nothing ever really worked, in a meaningful way. And so there really
in a
wasn't
meaningful way that shifted your relationship to alcohol.
Yeah. So, there just wasn't really examples of guys like taking more than a month off and and really kind of just getting a better sense of what the heck's going on with this kind of substance. So, I kind of, by my mid 40s, I was, inspired to stack up, and I took a year off. I called it a booze vacation. It kind of got a laugh and made it a little bit more funny and aspirational. And yeah, I just got such major kind of benefits from it. I really
Mm.
felt like I found the view and the key to happiness, and I was pretty excited
Wow,
about it.
that's huge.
And especially, I mean, I drank for 30 years, and so my buddies, and so I was kind of bringing those conversations up. I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. You should check it out. I wasn't even telling them to take a break. I was saying, hey, there's this 4-hour book I listened to on Audible that was like pretty money and on point. Alcohol lied to me, and I just wanted them to check it out on this Audible thing. And like, my buddies are like, oh, hey, oh, no, not so, like I couldn't even have the conversation. And so
Yeah.
I did get a couple buddies to do it. And yeah, they got great results like me. And, it was kind of like a rebirth and a reimagining, and it was
Wow.
really
Okay, you're
cool.
using like big terms too. I'm curious about the rebirth. And you said, did you say the keys to happiness? Like
Yes.
tell us a little more what happened.
I think on the happiness front, I think there's a common operating system that happens when you're drinking pretty heavily on the weekends and trying to take care of business during the work week. And
Yeah.
so, you can definitely go a little bit bigger on the weekend than you plan, and that impacts your productivity, your performance, and your sleep and your stress. Going into the week where you have all your stuff to do, and so you can really find yourselves in kind of negative states of stress and lack of productivity and missing the workout and sour
Right.
stomach. And so, kind of the key to happiness from what I can tell is being present and being kind of okay with the now.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of problematic when you're kind of in these stuck in these negative feedback loops where, it's more about the weekend than it is like right now. And you're kind of trying to get through it because you don't feel that great. You don't look that great. There's a lot to do.
Yep.
And so you kind of get conditioned to value past and future more than the present moment. So,
Yeah.
and so by, healing your body and mind and actually getting better performance, you're more in the moment. And so you're
Yeah.
more able to handle things. So that's kind of the happiness piece of it.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I mean, really, right. The more and more we are clued into mindfulness and being present and what it's like to be in the moment. And then I think often alcohol, it helps when we don't want to be in a moment. If there's something emotionally we're struggling with or something physically or relationally, it's like, it's a little bit of a buffer to take that away. But if you're really working with what's here, like what's actually truly going on and facing some of those things, that leads to more capacity to be present in the moment and to be happier. But you can't know that, right? If you're just buffering against it.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sitting here banging you need to be more mindful gong per se, but what happens scientifically when you're regularly drinking, even, 3 or 4 drinks a week, chronically, it's a neurotoxin. You're kind of rewiring the neural circuitry in your brain. And so your brain changes. And so it could take 3 to 6 months, depending upon how much you drink, to kind of restore your brain back to factory settings. So what you'll wind up with regular drinking is high stress, high anxiety, a lowered mood, and you'll have more impulsivity and less discipline around your decisions. So you're really kind of never at 100%. So you're kind of at 60, 70%. I'm not even talking about your hormones and your sleep that suck as
Right, we haven't
well,
even
and
gotten there.
your stomach, but just your brain. Like
Yeah.
your brain is dehydrated, it's shrinking. And so yeah, it's tricky to kind of be in those negative states and say, yeah, I'm just not going to drink for 3 or 4 months at a time so it could actually heal. And so it's because it's everywhere. And it's like, it's kind of this work hard, play hard reward system. And so guys never get out of these negative loops that they're stuck in.
Yeah.
And it gets, with tolerance and age, you just get more pain and less benefits. And again, I'm not talking raging alcoholics here. We don't serve alcoholics, but there's kind of that continuum of whatever, 5 to 15 drinks, and some of those IPAs and big pours of wine or cocktails can have 2, sometimes 3 servings. So one drink could be 2.5 drinks,
Right.
2.5 servings. And so, And the bro culture isn't really like mindfully tracking their drinks. And, if they're at a tailgating party or something like that, it's simply, it's how long they're at the event, and, they're going down. And so it's kind of a, guys, over time, I think our playbook is kind of being mindless and, kind of playing dumb with their alcohol use, because that's just kind of how guys roll. And that's fine and good. But over time, that's going to precipitate a lot of, quality of life issues today and health issues, now and in particular tomorrow, where they're more acute.
Yeah. Yeah. It leads me to wonder more about the impact on hormones and sleep and all of that. And also just the fascination with the fact that it is a substance or a kind of a drug that's, been made legal for as long as we know, right? And so many other substances, there's a tracking, or it's illegal, or there's so much more information and so much more knowledge about it, or maybe some of it's actually fear versus knowledge, but that alcohol just, is so freely available to us is fascinating. So do you have a sense, like scientifically or medically, about the impact on hormones and sleep and some of those other, areas of life that you were talking about?
Yeah. And, I have a degree in nutritional science. I have a human resource consulting business. I'm not like, an alcohol scientist or anything like that, but it's a passion project of mine. And if you check out the Andrew Huberman podcast on alcohol, like, it is laughably bad, like
Really?
how terrible alcohol is for you. Like,
Wow.
it's like obnoxiously bad. So yeah, your sleep, you can have a couple drinks, 2 or 3 drinks, again, maybe larger pours, 40% less sleep.
Wow.
Poor sleep lowers your testosterone levels. Alcohol lowers your testosterone levels. Alcohol, have you typically eat more food. There's more impulsivity. You're eating more processed food, which will make you more fat, which will lower your testosterone levels. So it's terrible for testosterone. And again, that with the lack of impulsivity and the lack of ability to do hard things, which, is what you use testosterone for, really changes guys in bad ways. And it affects your brain. It affects how much oxygen's in your body. It creates all kinds of leaky gut, all kinds of inflammation, not only in your liver, but just kind of everywhere. It causes 7 different types of cancers. And then, so that's kind of on just some of the, and, it shrinks your brain. It creates, again, that it rewires your neural circuitry. So just always dealing with higher stress levels, more cortisol, lowered mood, and just makes you really kind of up and down. And so, it's doing a lot of bad things there. And then when it comes to the actual benefits of it, again, if you got out of those negative loops, you would realize you're not really getting a lot of benefit out of it. And again, Booze Vacation members aren't like, it's not like, oh, we never drink after our vacation. It's a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
It's really a mechanism. A Booze Vacation is 3 to 12 months. So that's going to give you enough time to kind of heal your brain and hopefully kind of go for a land grab of just massively improving your health and increasing lean body mass and, crushing it with your family and work and play. And then kind of, reimagining how you want to roll with alcohol going forward, which is typically less or not at all. But it's not about sobriety or pointing fingers. It's really just giving guys a choice, because the current system doesn't really give guys much of a choice. And unfortunately, it's a predictive model that's going to create a lot of negative outcomes that guys want nothing to do with. They just didn't realize they kind of signed up for. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing and talking about what we're talking about.
This is great. And it is a little bit laughable. I just, I saw you like not giggle necessarily, but there was like a little laugh, right, as you're talking about how actually horrible it is for your whole system. And how, most of us aren't taught that. And men, especially, there is the bro culture or just the dude culture or whatever of, just throw one back. And then I think about, as a relationship and dating coach, right, the impact of that on relationships too, where, okay, we're not going to talk about this. We're just going to have a drink, or we're going to kind of dull ourselves out, or like you said, the impact on testosterone and all of these things that aren't then consciously brought to the surface to work with lead later to health crises, or that kind of midlife psychological emotional crisis of, who the fuck am I and what am I doing with my life and how did I end up with this person and all of those things.
Yeah, you're in a negative state. You're not sleeping well. You have less energy. You have less empathy. You have less testosterone and drive and libido. You're more stressed with work. You're more discontent and dissatisfied. And a lot of my peers, are top performers, and they're crushing it. They have businesses, and they've worked hard, played hard, and now they're kind of getting into their 40s and 50s, and it makes it almost even worse that you've achieved what you've achieved and you're not appreciating it because it looks like they have everything on
Yeah.
paper, but when you look at their blood work and their mood and their habits and their medicine cabinet, like they're dragging ass, they don't feel good, they don't look good, they're not grateful, they're not present with their family,
Yeah.
and they could be months away from precipitating chronic disease. And
Yeah.
that's a really good way to screw up your relationship, is come down with chronic disease, not make your money, and you'll be a lot less appealing to your partner if you're
Yeah.
not bringing home a nice check. And so, sounding a little callous, but that's just the reality. It's like when you get
Yeah. And
broke
whether,
and
and whether
broken,
it's
like,
bringing home the check or actually being able to be there and be present in life, right? All of it, being
yeah,
able to be connected, being able to have amazing sensual sexual experiences, being a good parent, like all the things. If those are being impacted, that can lead to relationship breakdown for sure.
yeah, it's a big deal. And getting divorced is very costly. Chronic disease is very costly, and none of it's fun. And so it's like, let's get a little smarter with our drinking. It's not like you don't have to join a monastery or anything like that, but it's like, if you can't figure this out, especially guys in their 40s that are have some belly fat, have some bad blood work, have high blood pressure, super common, have metabolic syndrome, and high stress, you know it's a really big opportunity to, and it seems kind of overwhelming to restore your health, but like it's exceedingly easy to restore your health when you take a break. And
Mm,
I've kind of mapped all that out by, kind of dealing with all my whack-a-mole issues of drinking for 30 years. And ultimately, all my interventions actually work great. They just were out of order. So alcohol is
interesting.
a master key. And so you have to learn how to have fun and reward, relax without it. And if you can't, you're just stuck in all these negative loops, and I don't like the prognosis, and I'm not cool with it. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. And we're
Yeah.
making some great results. So it's pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
This is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about restoring your health and, what you've seen, what's possible, what's happened for you?
Yeah. I'll pick on myself. I'm 51, and yeah, I mean, for more than I care to admit, I just slept really, really bad. I think, alcohol makes you overeat, overdrink, and overbreathe. And so I had sleep. I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea several times. I had the sleep apnea machines that it was super rough. It didn't work.
Well,
And, just stomach problems and stress and low mood. And yeah, it's like my 50th birthday, I surfed 10-foot waves in Nicaragua. Like, I found my passion with this new project. I still have another company, and just way better relationships, way better mood. It seems like a lifetime ago, but I mean, I only discovered this kind of pretty late in the game. I was like mid 40s. And so, yeah, it's been super impactful. And as far as, a guy getting on a booze vacation, all of a sudden there's just all these different small things that you could do to really start massively improving your health. Because as we mentioned, alcohol is kind of eroding your brain, it's eroding your sleep, it's messing up your digestive system, it's messing up your hormones. So there's all these things going down. And
yeah.
so by not drinking, you're kind of level setting, and then we're going to work on improving your sleep, your diet, your fitness. And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's this kind of simple interventions around all those different pieces, so you could really start getting exponential gains very quickly, getting guys pumped and excited about it, and then they're kind of all in. So, and really increasing their activity levels, increasing their muscle tone. It's like you get on the other side of 50, it's really a land grab to get as much lean body mass as possible, because you get in your 60s, slip and fall, get an infection, lose more lean body mass, and it's like you're going out in a painful whimper. It's not going to be any fun, and you're going to have very little mobility. So you really have to kind of take care of your house right now,
Yeah.
or just kind of kind of take your chances with your checkbook and your doctor and pharmacist, which is
none of us
expensive
want.
and not very expensive and not very effective, unfortunately.
Yeah, expensive and not very effective, especially in
Yes.
our
Yes.
Western culture, where some of these things, the chronic conditions that, alcohol and other lack of health practices promote, our Western medicine system is very much crisis medication oriented versus like, okay, let's actually promote optimal health and health from the inside out. And so sometimes it can get to, I've seen many people in my life, people of all genders, but hit the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s and be like, oh my God, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And now health actually feels way more important. But trying to band-aid over these incredibly, painful conditions with some kind of pill or some kind of medical intervention or surgery, right? It's not really getting to the root of the issue.
No, and yeah, there's so much that just simple health and wellness and healthy habits can address, from bad sleep to bad blood work to, autoimmune diseases, your cardiac health, your brain, your mental health, your physical performance, your mental performance. It's really, kind of just firing on all cylinders and restoring your body back to where it should be. And maybe, a lot of guys are limping around at 50, 60% and really getting them to 100, 110%. And, when you figure that out, you're not going to like regress back and go back to how it was. You're going to keep rocking it,
Right.
and you're going to have all this extra time, money, and energy to really just get after it and really increase your activity levels. There's trade-offs. You're not howling at the moon until 5 a.m. at a party, but while other guys are sick on the couch the next day watching reruns, you've already done like a lion's share of what they'll accomplish for in the month, that day.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
so it's
You can still howl
yeah,
at the moon, right? I mean, that's
that's right. Absolutely.
the interesting part about it too, is that you can have fun, right? You learn to have fun in ways that are actually natural to you, as opposed to needing some kind of substance in order to feel comfortable or relaxed or less awkward. And if that is the case, right, if there is some social anxiety or something like that, then you get to actually go to the root of that as well, to have more freedom and more choice instead of being dependent on a substance.
Yeah. And, it's really problematic and it's super common, and it was my operating system for longer than I care to admit, but it's super common to associate alcohol with fun, friends, events, and a reward system. But unfortunately, over time, it's just ineffective with tolerance and age. Like, everything gets taxed, and you're getting more pain and punishment for less return. And then all the other times when you're in these negative states where you're not in right mind, you're not in right body, you're kind of all systems are dragging ass. It's they're really low states, and it's not much fun. And yeah, I mean, and that's why guys, I think, struggle with it, because they don't realize that that they're at 60%, not at like 80 or 90%. And
Yeah.
so you get them up to 90, 100%, they're like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I can rock this on a Tuesday afternoon all day,
Yeah.
And so I don't need to be Friday night and Saturday night. And those windows over time, it's like, again, with alcohol, you get 4 or 5 drinks in you, your frontal lobe shutting down. You're not like, you're not there anymore. And like the reward cycle is like, boop, and then it's down, and then it's just all more, the beatings continue. And so
Yeah.
it's not again, I'm not here to judge it, because I would have done it till I was 100 if I could pull it off. But I just kind of realized eventually that, you can't override your physiology with this.
Yeah.
And if
Sometimes
you
it's a
want
blessing.
optimal health, you got to sleep well, you got to eat well, you have to have good relationships, you have to have some muscle, you have to have the mind to kind of manage adversity, and you're just not able to pull that off very well with regular alcohol use.
Well, this is an amazing movement, and I can see, right, the health ramifications, the social ramifications. It's a powerful decision to make. Is there anything else you want men to know?
Yeah. So again, we've tell you a little bit about Booze Vacation. So again, we're not targeting alcoholics, kind of targeting my male peers. It's resonating pretty well with females as well, but kind of keeping it in the bro speak. But yeah, it's just really, kind of a fun movement. We're not gonna like hold your hand or pump your inbox full of like, memes and inspirational quotes, but it's just letting guys know that, hey, this is not a stupid idea.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of living and fun and love to share with it. And it's really important that guys get on board because yeah, it's a great way to be a good friend and to really, live what the beer commercial's promising, but not quite delivering. It's like we're the ones getting after it. And, you know, on the other side of 50, if you don't figure this out, by 50s, you know, it's going to be really tricky to kind of
Yeah.
put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
So,
It's harder and
you
harder.
know, we really want to give guys that choice, and we have a fun active community, and you don't have to go it alone. We have a ton of free tools and resources, and yeah, we're doing all kinds of fun stuff. We're getting a lot of good attention from a
Awesome.
lot, some heavy hitters, and so yeah, it's a fun movement, and encourage everybody to kind of jump on board and check it out and consider it and start getting smarter about what you're up against is a good way to kind of start. You don't have to start making any you know lifestyle changes quite yet,
Major.
but
Yeah.
it's a predictive model. It's not pretty. It's nothing you want to be a part of when it comes to what you're going to get as far as health and quality of life, outcomes. And so, yeah, I think it's super important for guys to check it out. And yeah, they'll be very stoked when they do. It's guaranteed results because, again, at the end of the day, it's health 101. It's like stop kicking the shit out of yourself and start, kind of treating yourself like $1 million racehorse, not like a junkyard dog, is ultimately what it boils down to. So
I love it. I like how you talk about it, the land grabs and treating yourself like a racehorse. And just, I mean, there are like some funny terminologies or ways to look at it, but overall, this is an incredibly serious topic. And there's so much more available on the other side, right? And my lens is often, like we said, the lens of relationships and consciousness and mindfulness. And so it's really powerful to see too that if you're trying to make gains, in these ways, but you're drinking, it's like having a weight tied to your leg, right? Trying to move forward, but being pulled back at the same time.
yeah, that's a super good point, and thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, it's like if you're working out, if you're eating a kale salad, if you're taking supplements, if you're doing a meditation course, we're working on a side hustle. Any of this stuff is fine and good, but like with age and wear and tear, if you're still regularly drinking,
Yeah.
good luck. You're pissing up wind. You're gonna get results that will disappoint,
Yeah.
and okay, I'm not gonna work out then. Oh, I tore my shoulder up. Oh, it's like it's you have to get the baseline systems. You have to get your sleep, your stress, your mindset, your muscle, your fitness, just kind of some basic stuff. Some stress management, and without that, like you don't have a ticket to the dance. You're outside in the parking lot and you ain't getting in, and you can try and you can have short-term gains, but it's nothing that's going to sustain. So
Yeah.
it's something that's pretty important, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's again, it's very easy to pull off. Like we've had stellar results. Like guys are losing 50 pounds and just crushing it and producing music and just like
Nice.
being great examples to their families and just all this super cool stuff. And
Oh, so
so
great.
it's really exciting, and yeah, we're super stoked to share it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for creating the movement and for using your own personal experience to serve others and, support other men to get healthier, other people to get healthier. I appreciate that.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Shane. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And where can people go find you? Is it Booze Vacation?
It is boozevacation.com. That's true.
Great.
Yes, please check us out. Yeah, you could. We have a bunch of free resources. You can do some quick win challenges where you can kind of take on one skill set a week. You can do free vacations where you can take a 3 to 12 month break real quick. Again, 1 month breaks and short. 1 month and shorter is counterproductive. We don't like them. They don't have any meaningful change. So minimum 3 month
3 months.
break. It sounds kind of scary, but you can kind of get educated, get some awareness, and I think it'll be hard to unsee some of this stuff and might get you excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Likewise, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Man Alive. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and it gave you something to consider and explore in your life. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review that helps men like you find us. And again, head over to ShaynaJamesCoaching.com/quiz or text the word ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 to get a sense of how you can become a better lover and leader. You'll start to see how you can be both more respected and desired in your unique and genuine way. If you don't feel as confident or as excited about life or love as you'd like to be, this quiz is a really great starting point and will guide you toward a more passionate love life and a more inspiring and successful career. So again, text ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 or head over to ShaynaJamesCoaching.com/quiz. Join us each week for a new episode of Man Alive.